This man is a total poser. Mr. Krabs was never meant to run the Krusty Krab. In fact, his childhood passion was never to be a restaurant owner. He invented this entire path to mask his former life. In reality, he's lying about something big to everyone in Bikini Bottom. But there's no way a simple lie could land him in jail, right? I know you're all familiar with how greedy this crab is, but if you're someone who somehow still defends him, watch till the end to see just how far this old man will go to bury his past. So, we all know Mr. Krabs, the wealthy owner of the Krusty Krab, was in the Navy, right? The Krusty Krab training video episode gives us a glimpse of this background. Essentially, Mr. Krabs served in the Navy, fought in a war, returned home broke and traumatized, opened the Krusty Krab, and became the penny-pinching boss we know today. This sounds simple and tidy. However, watching the episode Grandpappy the Pirate immediately creates confusion. In this episode, his pirate grandfather is shown for the first time. The episode begins with Mr. Krabs receiving a letter from his pirate grandfather. After a short period, we learn that he was quite literally a pirate. He explained to SpongeBob that he bought a ship, hired a crew, and spent years plundering the high seas. He admits this, there is no way to deny it. Crucially, he gave it up because it was not profitable enough. So he sold the ship, fired the crew, and returned to the food business. The Krabs family had been keeping his true identity a secret. Now, this is where the story gets messy. What about the Navy artifacts stored in Mr. Krabs' house? What about the time he met his old Navy buddies and received a medal for his bravery in Shell of a Man? And what about the claim that he fought in a war and became depressed? So in simple words, was Mr. Krabs a brave Navy veteran or more of a criminal pirate? We must resolve these problems one by one. The claim that the reunion with his old buddies was entirely made up is significant, but once the evidence is seen, it cannot be unseen. In the episode, Mr. Krabs prepares for a reunion with his Navy buddies by digging up his old Navy chest to retrieve his uniform. Just as he is about to leave, his shell falls off. To save the appearance of attending, SpongeBob put on his shell and pretend to be him. Not trusting SpongeBob, Krabs attends the event in secret. Surprisingly, SpongeBob does a very good job of impersonating Krabs, even receiving a trophy from their former captain. Just as he is about to leave, his disguise is exposed. Krabs ends up coming to his rescue, but is forced to demonstrate that he is not as physically strong as he once was. However, everyone on the crew considers him brave for exposing himself. And the episode concludes. It is a nice episode with a great storyline, but sadly, the entire premise is a lie. Let me explain. Krabs' captain, the individual who presented SpongeBob with the award in Shell of a Man, looks extremely similar to someone in an old photograph. In the Season 4 episode, Whale of a Birthday, a picture is visible behind Krabs for a few frames. The fish in the picture and the captain look strikingly alike. They are both light blue, both wear a blue uniform, and share the same insignia. In fact, if the eye patch on the hat is removed, it simply looks like a younger version of the captain himself. We see the same picture again 8 seasons later in the Season 12 episode, Cookie Cooks. For some reason, the fish is a different color, but that is not the important detail. As Krabs throws his and Mrs. Puff's food, we see another picture of a pirate ship in his house. When the food melts the picture of the ship, a pirate in a blue uniform emerges. We have seen this blue uniform before. It was in Krabs' Navy chest. Why is a pirate wearing the exact same uniform? The truth is that Krabs has been lying the entire time about being in the Navy. His Navy buddies and his captain were all pirates, and they have since disguised themselves to avoid jail. Now, regarding the items in Mr. Krabs' house, just by looking at the things around him, it is clear that this cannot be a Navy veteran's collection. There is a massive number of pirate-related items. For example, why does Krabs have an image of a pirate? Also, why is the pirate a human? There is also an image of a boat in the ocean with a huge skull indicating it is a pirate ship. He even has an image of a chest with the words, "The Spot," written beneath it. He also owns a hat with a skull on it. There is another map with a ship and an X. The final pirate-related item is a map featuring a skull. If Krabs were not a pirate, why would he possess all these things? It is not as if his family, especially his pirate grandfather, visits frequently, considering they rarely appear on the show. For Krabs to possess all this, he must genuinely care about these items, and to care about them, he has to be a pirate. Let's return to the Krusty Krab training video. The narrator states that Krabs fought in a war.
After the war, Krabs stayed secluded in a deep depression that seemed endless.
But here is the critical detail. He never says what war, nor does he state which side he was on. Considering that pirates often flipped alliances depending on who paid more, this vagueness is highly typical of Krabs' character. There's even a chance he fought for both sides, depending on the highest bidder. Or perhaps he did not fight at all. Maybe the entire story is fabricated. Remember, the KKTV episode is just a mock training video for new employees. There is no guarantee that any of it is factual. For all we know, it is just another smokescreen that Krabs invented to bury his pirate past and appear as a respectable businessman. The more closely you look, the more cracks you find. We should remember that Krabs is a deliberate liar, and this is built into the main plot. He constantly lies about the secret Krabby Patty formula. In the episode Enemies-in-Law, he claimed the recipe was an old family recipe.
It's an old Krabs family recipe!
Yet we know he discovered it right after his arguments with Plankton as a child. Karen even possesses all the footage, meaning Plankton knows this is a lie. This might explain why Plankton looked confused when Krabs made the family recipe claim.
Mother knows the Krabby Patty formula?
In another episode, Plankton's Army, Krabs also bluffed about the recipe itself, stating that Plankton was the main ingredient. Why all the lies? While the recipe bluff could be just one of Krabs' mind games to trick Plankton, the simpler explanation is
money.
Think about it. You cannot successfully run a burger joint as an ex-pirate. That is disastrous for your business image. You cannot promote family values with a criminal history of sea crimes. Most importantly, he already had Pearl when he opened the Krusty Krab. He needed to look like a role model, a hardworking single father who succeeded by his own effort. That type of story sells to customers because it attracts sympathy, and sympathy generates money. Furthermore, this lie serves to keep him out of prison, because of course, being a pirate is illegal. Let's clear up a few things about Mr. Krabs' past. First, his father. People always ask whether he ever appeared and if he was actually a pirate. The answer is yes on both. In episodes like Senior Discount, we see that Mr. Krabs' father had a fairly decent relationship with his son. But if we look back to Krabs' own childhood in Friend or Foe, his father wasn't around. Since his grandfather spent much of his time at sea, it's likely his father was off doing something similar. There isn't much to say about him. He only appears in a couple of episodes, but all signs point to him being a pirate. The influence of his entire family left a lasting mark on Krabs, guiding him toward continuing the family legacy. And even today, his father seems to blend in with ordinary clothes, likely a way to stay under the radar and avoid any trouble with the law. Now think back to what I said earlier. Krabs never wanted to run a restaurant when he was young. He grew up inside a full pirate family. That environment shaped him from day one. His grandfather plants the seed when Krabs is still a baby, and from then on, the path seems obvious. In Camp Crossbones, young Krabs spends his time playing pirate nonstop. That influence never leaves him. Even as an adult, whenever treasure enters the picture, the pirate instinct switches on. For instance, in the Season 1 episode, he grabs a treasure map and instantly calls SpongeBob and Patrick his crew. Did Mr. Krabs ever do something extreme to keep himself out of trouble? Yes. The Nasty Patty is the best example. Krabs thinks a health inspector has died, and instead of stepping back, he goes straight into cover-up mode. He panics, pushes SpongeBob into helping him, and even buries the body. The ending plays it off as a misunderstanding, but the behavior tells us everything. He's willing to go far to protect himself and hide anything that could expose him. So here's the bigger picture. Krabs lies about serving in the Navy to cover up his pirate background. He rewrites stories from his childhood so no one connects the Krusty Krab to the fight he had with his old friend. He wants to stay clear of the law and protect his reputation. And more than anything, he wants everyone to think he's a mastermind who built the Krabby Patty formula through brilliance, not drama. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.